for Fools. Welcome to History for Fools, the best history class on a Sunday. Grab your coffee, grab your vibrator, sit on it, grab your tea, my friend. Glenn Carlin, if you're listening, shout out to Ireland. That fool lives in Dublin by the sea.
Hey, what
he's
up,
an
Ireland?
artist over there. We were trying to go visit him, but didn't make it out. Also, shout out to Ramon, Joanna, people who started listening to our podcast. You know who you are. The big guy I met in Naples, Florida. I think I made fun of you and your lady.
Off the Hook Comedy Club was so much fun, dude, and everybody that came out was so nice. I think it was the place that I've been to with you where the most people walked up and were like, "I love your podcast." So I think that means the podcast is growing, dude. But I appreciate everybody who came up and came out and said nice things, man. It keeps us going. Definitely keeps me going. Whenever I'm like that's the thing is I think about those things when I'm like sitting there reading all these books and I'm kind of like, man, I want to go play video games. And I'm like, nah, dude, I think about people that come up to me and say like this particular subject, I didn't get to read any books because there's not a lot of books on this. There's diaries. There's several diaries that were written. What you got going over there? A little art kit?
Lisa got me a little art thing, bro. Look.
Oh, you got
So I put all the oils right here.
right.
And then I mix and match right here.
Like
and then I easel and I paint it right there.
Ah, okay.
And I got a little wristband to wipe the brush and put it on.
Like fucking like a mini Bob Ross over here.
So I put water in these, right? I put water in these.
Okay.
And they're little brushes, different sizes. Then I put the oil in these little squares. And I dip. And then I brush it right here.
I see those brushes.
And I paint right there. They're water.
They put the water in here at the top, and then they just continuously flow water, and you just use it as
watercolors.
Watercolors. Oh man, that's fucking great, dude. I love that.
So I got me a little pencil.
I wish that we had these when we were kids.
So I got me a little pencil to draw right here. So there's a little tiny little easel. Shout out to E-Zone. That'd be his son's name.
We got a little mini E-Zone right here.
Also, man, shout out to that homie, bro, from Chiclets. He hooked me up last time. Shout out to him, man. Chiclets, man, the best pre-rolls in the land. Once you master how to smoke, light them up. You want to know
something, bro? Because he makes these hash holes.
You know who's hooked on those? Rizzo.
I am too.
His neighbor.
Oh, really? I am too. Because and I save them when I go do the We Don't Smoke the Same podcast. I get one for being there, which is I love that. And then I take it home. And one time, because there's when you buy these, there's a video that E-Zone makes on how to smoke them because there's a right way to smoke them. And because me and you couldn't figure it out.
Because there's people who smoke, who puff, who inhale too hard.
Right, you gotta puff a little, because the thing is, me and my girl went to Santa Barbara for vacation, and we smoked it as soon as we got into our hotel room. We got it set out in the parking lot, watched the sunset, puffed on that daddy for at least half of it. And the next day, woke up and I'm like, "You want to puff again?" And she goes, "Dude, I'm still fucking high from last night." Then the next day, she was like, "I'm still high from the other day when we smoked that."
Watercolors.
Those are the watercolors, but they look like oils.
Yeah, that's why I thought they were oils.
Yeah, okay. They do look like little oils.
So you and your lady were.
Yeah, and that thing fucked her up for like 3 days straight, dude. I'll puff on that thing. I was thinking, I have one right now, and I'm like, should I save it for a special occasion, or should I just puff it slowly every night before I go to bed? Just take a couple.
Also, shout out to that dude in Naples who brought his father, Bruce.
Oh yeah.
He used to be on my friend on Snapchat. His handle was Sácame la leche.
What does that mean?
Take my milk out.
Oh wow. That's vulgar, man.
And he lives in the Everglades of Florida. Also, man, shout out to that guy from Immokalee and all my fans in Lehigh.
Yeah, dude.
And Dennis Waters.
Dennis
comedian.
Waters. Shout, dude.
The sound guy who thinks he wants to be a comedian. Stories have a lot of fat in them, eh? Nah, he's a nice guy. Hey, man, he said his idea is to go out in Austin and try it out. Good idea.
Oh, he hasn't done comedy yet.
Ever. But he don't want to do it in Florida because he don't want to be known as, oh, remember that fool did comedy, it was not funny. Good idea.
I guess, yeah.
The best time to do stand-up comedy
right now
is like, but right now is go alone. I know you want to bring your homies.
That's actually
but
true,
you don't want
dude.
them to feel sorry for you on the way home when you suck.
Dude, you know what?
Don't put your friends in a bad position like that, man. Bringing your friends to your first comedy show is like borrowing money from them after they already told you no.
Knowing you're not going to pay it back.
Remember me trying to borrow $500 to tell you no? Then you try to borrow $700 instead. That's what it feels like, man. Desperateness. It's an ugly feeling. And you don't want that ugly feeling to be transformed into another friend.
That is so true.
Go alone, bro. It's like doing stand-up comedy first time and like doing an armed robbery for the first time. You're going to have to do it yourself, bro. You can't be bringing in no other people and get involved and then die too.
Being alone in comedy is a very big deal because I think it's important. Like, you're right. If I could give advice to anybody that's starting comedy, do not fucking invite your friends to the first 6 to 7 years of you doing comedy. And then, because if I didn't have any of my friends come around, right now my friends would be showing up to shows right now where I'm doing good. And so I would say that first of all, and you're kind of spending. Yeah. You're taking their time that they're not going to give to you anymore because you suck. Because they don't want to tell you suck. They're going to go in there and they're going to go, boy, he really sucks, huh? And then your friend's wife is going to be like, yeah, but don't be mean to him. Be nice. Imagine,
bro, you're like working at an office, like the show The Office.
Okay.
You want to do a set. You're invited to the warehouse. Shipping and receiving, you invited a lunch lady, then you fucking bomb, bro. Every time they're huddling together laughing, you think you know they're not laughing at one of your jokes.
Right. You know what? You know what?
You wish they were laughing at you, but they're not.
They're not.
They're laughing at how
stupid
your jokes and unfunny were they were. They were laughing about how you're just funny by the sparkling water, bro.
Not even that anymore now. You ruined that.
There's fools that are funny, you're funny around your little group, your little 5 audience. Those are your fans. Don't try to get more fans.
I want to, whenever someone walks up to me, and you got to be nice to everybody. And that's not even just people that come to your show. My personal philosophy is to be nice to every human being you come in contact with. But when someone walks up to me and says, I'm the comedian in the group, I make everybody laugh back at home, I want to stab myself in the eye with a fucking spoon because I'm about to hear this person tell me that they should do comedy.
Everybody that works tells me that I should be a comedian.
Yes. Yeah.
Bro, I'm going to tell you right now. Have you ever entertained these people when they're not holding plates when they're serving? Yes. Have you ever entertained these people when they're not loading cable and shit for this podcast?
Right.
Have you ever been funny outside of fucking washing dishes? Because they used to tell me too, bro. I'm over there washing dishes, bro, making everybody laugh. Felipe, you should be a comedian. But I was embarrassed to say I already am for 3 years.
Yeah, I don't tell people. Even to this day sometimes, dude, like I don't.
Because you'll be the comedian, bro.
Yeah, because then all of a sudden you're the...
You have a nickname.
Yeah. I say I work in the entertainment business a lot of times when I'm just having a personal conversation. I mean, if I'm...
It hurts, huh?
It fucking hurts.
To bomb?
Oh, well,
bro, bombing, bro, is like being in a fucking loop, like those time travel loop. And every time you come back, there's a new guy having sex with your wife while she holds your son's hand.
Dude.
And they're all waving at you, happy, like it's okay. And the son is saying, "It's okay, Dad. It's okay. We're gonna be fine."
Oh my God, bro! Yeah,
That's what it feels like.
Yes.
And it's playing over and over.
There's this,
Or it feels like you getting slapped in front of your parents. Then your friends, you gotta go back to your friends and play baseball like it didn't happen. But they all saw you getting slapped, and they asked you, "Do you want to play?" And you're like, "Yeah." It hurts.
Yes.
That's why I know that I don't want to take. Then the person that sees you bomb, they know you bomb.
They know you. You both know you bombed. Or the worst is that I didn't know when I first started out that I was bombing, and then when I go back and look at, because I would always have a friend hold my camera at their table while I was on stage at the Improv, and I could hear their fake laughter. I could hear the push laughter in the room of all my friends, and I like sometimes people go, "Do you ever look at old tapes when you first started?" No, there's no need for that, dude. There's no need to hear that. Puts me in such a shame hole that do
you ever see those people who constantly bomb, bro? But they don't know they bomb no matter what. They don't feel what we feel right now.
Oh God.
They don't feel hurt that they bomb. And I just realized it right now. Those people are psychopaths.
Those are psychopaths.
They're psychopaths.
Holy fuck, you're right.
Because only a psychopath will go out there and murder people, and then have a normal dinner with his daughter sits in his lap and eating ice cream, bro, and watching Garanimos.
Bro, it's
a psychopath.
I think this is the most accurate depiction of these people. They're called
and I'm glad
LA
those
open
people
micers.
do stand-up still and not murdering people out there. Instead, they're murdering people's hearts in stand-up comedy.
Bro, do you know how...
I just blew my mind right now. Like,
you're blowing my fucking mind right now.
These people are like... we saw them. We witnessed this.
Bro, in
our podcast engineer was at the show. He saw it too. He's afraid to talk to us now about him.
If you go to
everybody,
if you go to
the psychopath.
If you go to the open mic on Tuesdays at the Improv at 5:15 p.m., and I encourage you all to go because it is a fiasco of psychopaths. It's like half psychopaths and half good comics.
I never thought about that, but that's what it is, bro.
I never thought about that either. But what's crazy right now, why you blew my mind, is because this room is filled to the brim with open micers. Like the Comedy Store has an open mic, but it's got regular people that go to watch it. For some reason, the Improv on a Tuesday is almost, and I'm talking, it's a packed house filled with comedians. And that seats 289, 290, something like that. I would say a quarter of those people in that room are good comedians, and the rest are open micers who say the most heinous things and bomb and don't even think about it. And I just realized that those are all psychopaths. I'm going there because this is the day that we filmed today. I'm going there tonight and I'm going to walk. Bro, the world just got so much larger with psychopaths. There's so many more.
And they're all in the entertainment business. Because I'm just thinking right now.
I thought they were here and there, and now they're like everywhere.
About, next time one of those psychopath comedians walks up to me and thinks about, you think I should quit? I'm going to say, hell no.
No.
Hell no.
No, bro.
And you now think about it, bro, I have more empathy for them.
Yeah.
Because I know they're going to bomb, and we saw a train wreck.
They don't know it.
But they didn't see it. But now I know that this person's a psychopath, and this is what he needs. This.
Well, we know
he needs to go up.
So we know people mutually from the Bay Area and people that you've introduced me to.
Bro, people with ribeyes
that have stayed in this business and should not have stayed in this business as long as they have. There's people from the day that I started, that I first met, that did a show with me and you. I'm not going to name names. That spent many, many moons doing the same thing over and over and over again. And,
You know,
and it's like, what are you still doing here, bro?
bro, when those people are they're at Cypress Hill concerts, bro, holding their first album, bro,
Yeah.
just getting shoved the whole concert, bro.
Yes, dude.
And
Yeah, why are you
and
here?
every time he looks down,
Yeah.
they're trying to make sure he sees it, bro. Everybody's already saw it, but he's still holding it. Hope.
It's like, I feel bad
Waiting
because
for that nod.
I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad. One, I kind of am because you ruin comedy for everybody else because there's a lot of people who go, dude, I don't know how many times, I swear to God, a night that we go out with him or without, when I'm just doing my own shows, someone will come up to me. It's almost nightly. Someone comes up and says, this was my first show. I had a good time. Thank you. What scares me about that is that how many others are out there is having first nights going to these shows. Like, you ever see a flyer that looks dope and it's a bunch of like really bad comedians? And I'm like, please don't go to this for the flyer. Please don't go to this for the flyer. Like, this can't be your first show. Because then you go, this is what the fuck comedy is? So I get mad at that part. But I get worried because you need to start a job with a pension right now. Because whatever this is, it's not working for you. Maybe you could be a carpenter, a candle maker. Maybe you could be the best sock maker in the fucking world. But right here, bro, this is just a hobby for you. And it's not going to go any further than that. And there's people who are like, I see them to this day, bro, that are like, I'm not even like, I'm doing this thing. I'm on the road with you. I'm in Hollywood. And I still might have to fucking die in a county hospice because I didn't make it. But then there's people who are like, you're not at all. Like, dude, why?
Why you keep going up there hurting yourself?
Don't do this to yourself. But you ask those people, you go, how'd you do tonight? They'll be like, fucking murdered, bro. And I'm like, no, you didn't. And you can't say that because I've tried that being honest where I'm like, hey, man, I don't know if you noticed, but nobody was really laughing. And then now I'm an asshole or you're a jerk. And it's like, and again, but you have no business telling people what to do either in that way, you know?
Stay, bro.
Right. You know?
You have a lot of friends here. You quit, you got no more friends.
Yeah. Right. Yes. That's the thing.
I always tell people, like, I see, like, should quit.
Group. It's a group to be in.
You're a part of a community here as a stand-up comic.
Right.
Just have different goals. Just figure your goal should be, I'm going to be the funniest 20 minutes in City of Commerce.
Right.
You know, have a goal. You know, don't. Maybe
don't just throw shit at the wall.
Your goal of fucking going on tour like Kevin Hart. Right. Yeesh.
Yeah.
That wasn't my goal.
No, never. Honestly,
my goal was to make $1,400 a week.
Yeah, that's it.
And I did it when I worked.
Yeah.
When I worked Oregon, bro, Portland.
Oh, and you did the what was that theater called? McNenaman's?
No, bro, it was a stand-up. It was that comedy club.
Oh, was that Helium?
No, before that.
Whoa.
Harvey's.
That's where you had that club.
He gave me $1,400.
That's the club where you have to get recommended by somebody.
Yeah, I was lucky, bro. Shout out to Andres Fernandez from
just so people
Ventura
know,
Harbor.
You have to get recommended by a pro to do this club. And if you fuck up, the pro doesn't get welcome back either. Not only do you not get welcome back, but whoever recommended you, not coming back either. And so in order for someone to recommend you, they have to be solid that you're going to be solid.
Yeah, man. Also, shout out to Andres Fernandez. He owns the Ventura Harbor Comedy Club.
Oh, dope.
He also owns a couple of restaurants there, man. That fool's an entrepreneur, bro. He was born with two restaurants. Like when he was born, they gave him 2 restaurants to run.
No way.
Yeah,
like
man.
The day he was born, he was fucking.
Yeah, man. He was like a little ratatouille baby, bro. Cooking, making café con leche.
They gave him a little pad and a pencil, and they're like, "Go take orders."
Yeah, I met him in 1996.
Okay.
He was doing stand-up comedy, and he had a development deal for a stand-up comedy.
Were you doing stand-up? When did you start stand-up?
Started stand-up comedy, bro. My first time was like in the 90s, 94.
Oh, shit. That's a year before I graduated.
Open mic. Then I quit, bro. But do you really quit if nobody knows who you are?
No.
That's how bad I was doing. That's how great I was doing it. When I quit, nobody noticed.
How long did you stay quit?
A year and a half. I
Okay.
came back in 96.
But you only did it one time and then left and came
So I
back.
went 94, bro. Open mic at the Natural Fudge. I met Jamie Kenny there. I love Freddie Soto, Alonzo Bowden.
Holy fuck, bro.
And those fools have already been doing it 4 years.
Right. But they weren't famous at all either.
Those guys started in 1990.
Rest in peace, Freddie Soto, by the way, who would have been a fucking, well, he's a legend, but.
Yeah, man. How many
even
letters
bigger
in the
legend.
word shaking? That fool, yeah, man. I was like, I had like how do you say when you first start off? I had no goals. I had no I just wanted to write jokes and go up on stage every day.
Right.
So I was going up like 6 days a day at that time.
Yeah.
Just following these guys to open mic. I would put my name, these motherfuckers wouldn't put me up, bro. When I thought I'd punch you motherfuckers, dog.
Right.
Or I'll be the first person to write my name at 7. And I didn't realize that shit don't mean nothing because there was fools that were there signing all their homies' names.
Right. Yeah. Yes.
For the open mic.
Yes.
Man, I remember, man, that guy that ran that room, he had we were in the same sketch together with Gene Pompa.
Mm-hmm.
And I was supposed to kick that fool out of the fucking, I was like, security, can you kick this guy out of my audience? So the whole week, bro, I was pushing him slow. The day of the show, bro, I shoved that motherfucker so hard, bro. Like, it looked so real, bro.
Gene?
No, some other dude.
Oh, some other dude?
It was Gene Pompa's show.
It was
some other fool.
Okay.
He was like a writer.
Oh.
And that fool is shit now. And he wasn't shit then. But he ran that room, bro. And then I would go up early.
Right.
He would put me up to late or something, not go up.
Ah, bro.
So, bro, I waited for the scene, bro. And then I grabbed them good, bro. I was practicing how to grab fools.
Uh-huh.
And I grabbed them good, bro. I grabbed him by the waist and the belt and the fucking back.
And the back of his shirt?
Yeah, and then I took 3 steps before he took any steps.
Right.
So by that time, he was already falling, bro.
He had to keep moving.
He was already out of step. It's an old bouncer move.
Right, yeah.
So then by that time, bro, if you're 3 steps holding somebody, I don't care how big they are, they're your puppet by now.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because it's like, it's balanced now.
Right, because they're trying to get their balance.
It's all wrestling move. It's all balanced now.
Especially if you're larger than
Yeah,
them.
I'm a way larger.
Yeah.
So I'm at the level, bro. And I just threw that full hard, bro. Everybody laughed. They clapped. I felt like the Three Stooges. They gotta hear it in the back, cocksucker.
Fuck yeah! Holy shit!
Yeah, man.
But you could? Did you? Were you were banned from that after that? I take it.
No, bro. It was part of the show.
Oh, it was part of the show.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
I was supposed to kick that fool out, so since there was practice, I was gentle with his ass. Gentle.
A little bit of like physical comedy there.
Yeah, cause I was like, Felipe, get him out of my show. So then I get him out of my show. Then finally, the day of the show, it was all packed. HBO works.
You guys pulled it off.
And I threw him out of the audience, bro, hard as fuck. Fucking bashed him, bro. He fell on the ground. But everybody was laughing,
And
bro.
Yeah. What place was this? Do you remember the name?
It's called the HBO Workspace. It's on Melrose. And Jim Pompa busted out 3 shows. It was called the Late Show with Jim Pompa. Some people have a 31-hour show. They give that fool 15. So that fool, bro, it was a talk show. Here, that fool go up there, bro, and do like a Tonight Show. Say, hey, how you guys doing, man? And I walk up to my co-host, and then that was that guy. And then
love it.
Then he goes, you know what? I'm getting tired of your shit, man. You're not fucking funny, man. You fucking been holding your fucking ass. Security, get him out of here. And the security right there. He goes, you know what, security? Don't get him out of here. Do some robot. So that fucking Pompa security just doing robot, bro, the whole time.
No way.
He's just doing robot, bro.
Did this get start to
he just doing
people would show up?
He just doing Pompa right there, right? So they go, fucking Felipe, gonna get my sound manager, kick him out of here. So I'm wearing like a headphone, go get him out of here. Then I added my own line today. And when I added my own line for the show, this piece of shit. So yeah, get him out of here. So I kick him out. Then I go, sit down. So I sit down. And ladies and gentlemen, you guys ready for the Pumpalicious? And the Pumpalicious were his sketch group. And then they would just we would clear everything out. And then there was a sketch. It was Charlie's It was called Gene's Angels, and there was these three chicks. They were like Charlie's Angels, and Charlie was giving them assignments. So we would do a bunch of sketches, and then we had a guest on the show who was she was a friend of Gene Pompa, and she was she helped her mother and all her she helped her grandmother and all her relatives escape North Korea.
Whoa.
Yeah, she wrote a book about it.
Wait a minute. That girl, the girl that was on Joe Rogan?
And with Rice, something like that.
I think so, maybe.
And there was another
She's
comedian.
like a real pretty lady.
Yeah, she's been around.
Yeah.
They're off Gene. Anyways, we did three of them, and they were Gene Pompa. Every time he did the show there, all people from HBO will come watch it, and it was like a showcase show, and they never picked it up. But we still did it though.
That's fucking dope though.
So in '96, the reason that's how I got my first TV credit, because in '90, Gene saw me probably and perform in '94, '95.
Okay.
And then like he told Pat Buckles and Jeff Valdez to book me on that TV show '96.
Holy fuck.
We go way back, Little. I knew when it was Little Bear.
So you got your first TV credit within a couple of years.
Yeah, I was lucky, bro. Cause see,
lucky.
I got in
Yeah.
when I was in, the comedy boom ended already. It had ended 5 years before I started.
Right, I
Done.
remember that. Yeah.
And Def Jam blew up immediately after that. That was like the
Right.
comedy black boom.
I remember that.
And then Def Jam was never burned out to this day. You know, urban humor is the hottest, still out there.
Oh,
It's
fuck
never
yeah.
burned out. There hasn't been it's never been cold. The white comedy boom died out, but then it got replaced by the white podcast comedy boom. But
Which created another
which
white
is
comedy
huge.
boom,
But
AKA the alt comedy.
but
boom.
that means that right now, the white comedy podcast boom is that it just reached its plateau. They had presidents on their podcast. You know, they had Donald Trump on their podcast, or Joe Rogan. But that thing is dying out, bro. They're like it's falling apart. Because they started off with Mark Maron as the big podcaster when he was on. He used to be on American radio with Rachel Maddow and the guy from Public Enemy.
Okay.
Back in the day, but then they broke out to be a podcast, and that's kind of like it reached its plateau. It can't get any bigger than it is right now. So the next wave is gonna be us, the Latino podcast
Right.
boom, which is like barely in its infancy right
And
now.
that's the thing is that I was explaining this. I went to the Louis spot yesterday, and I was talking to one of the homies there that we all talk to, and he wants to get into creating, stuff because he rides a motorcycle.
Stick to painting, homie.
And he also wants to do golf stuff. But he was explaining how golf has gotten big on Instagram. It's huge. And I was like, the next thing that's going to happen then, because it gets so big, once the world gets so big, it starts to break off. Like, it was probably just golfers. Now it's going to be Latino golfers, black golfers, young golfers, and that's the thing, is that this fear has gotten so big that it is just going to break off. And then there's going to, and that, I think it's already happening. And that's what's so great about it, is that will be the next move. And then a lot of our power, I think, a lot of our, we're part of a movement here of people that are helping each other out. You know what I mean? This is an entertainment podcast, but I hope people get enough knowledge to get some perspective. I don't know, man. Reading all this history that we go through makes me think about life differently. Like,
Yeah.
I could say this podcast and what I've learned has actually changed the way that I think about things. It's changed like how I live my life. Like, so
Yeah, man.
I think that having that knowledge is powerful, man. And so I hope that there's a lot of our Latino brothers and sisters.
Yeah, man. I hate that they like when Mark Maron says about the woke crowd. Hey, you're so afraid of the woke crowd. I hate that. I like when Bill Burr says that white people ambush words and make them mean somewhere else. Remember, a lot of people don't know this because they're too young to remember this. There was a thing called affirmative action. And the reason affirmative action was started was because you would have a Oakland Fire Department, for example, Oakland Fire Department, predominantly black community, right? But a lot of Latinos, a lot of blacks, a lot of Chinese will apply to be a fireman, right? And they were qualified. They were, like, honestly, they were actually qualified because they would go through like harder regimen to get to the fireman department.
Yes.
But they would always tell them no. So one day, a different administration comes in and it tells them, listen, man, you can't be hiring all these white motherfuckers.
Yeah.
And you got to start hiring people of color. And because they were hiring less qualified white people to do these fireman jobs. So it'll be like this. There'll be a guy right here, black guy. There'll be a black African-American right here who went to fire school at Rio Hondo Community College in Pico Rivera. Went through fire school. Can lift 200 pounds of weight, maybe 300, right? And then there's this white guy who's not as qualified as this black guy. But this black guy is dark, man. Like scruncho dark. Right? So they will say, nah. They will not hire him. So they would hire the white guy who's not qualified. So after a while, man, it became discrimination. They started calling that's discrimination, man. You are discriminating against qualified people of color to be a fireman. So finally they said, you know what, you gotta hire a black guy or hire somebody. So now here's this dark guy again, man, the most qualified guy. Right? But nah, man, they went for Chris Reed from Kid and Play.
Right.
Why? Because he's lighter skinned, but he's less qualified, right?
Oh man, that sounds like
he's less qualified. So they put in that light skinned black guy in there, right?
Yeah.
And he's doing a bad job. So now that bad hire became what they call now DEI hire.
Yeah.
Because they said, well, they forced us to hire a person of color. Yes, they did. But you went out and hired the least qualified one because the other one was just too dark for you. And that's your fault. But that's also, man, and it goes on and on.
I mean, that's what we talked about last week on the baseball episode or the week before, where they chose, and again, love Jackie Robinson, great ball player.
Yeah.
But there was a better ball player who was not educated, who didn't give a fuck about what white people cared about, gambled and drank and fucked white women and had a great time. But he wasn't presentable to white audiences, so they chose Jackie Robinson. The other guy I'm talking about is Josh Gibson, who was a much better player and who a lot of people consider one of the greatest baseball players ever to play the game, period. So, like, that's the thing, man, is that they still, in the light of, we're going to do everybody a favor here. We're going to choose these Mexican guys, you know what I mean? But let's go for the guy that's doesn't look like he's fucking out there picking fucking fruit and go for the guy that looks good in a suit.
Bro, just like when
Even though the guy picking fruit is more qualified.
Just like when they tell you, bro, like on television, in the news, right? Great example. If you're young, if you're listening, great example of this. Hey, man, you guys got to hiring Latina reporters.
Oh, God, bro.
And guess what, bro? The lightest one is on television.
Yeah.
And the darkest one is out there reporting, bro, in the fires.
Out in the wind with a fucking stop sign blowing behind them and shit, dude.
Remember, bro, they'll be like, and then like, bro, when they started hiring Latinos, that's why was happy when I would see Latino reporters back in the 80s because the news person will mispronounce their name, and then when they would say their name, they would say it with their accent all proud.
Yes, dude.
Reporting from CBS Noon, Ramon Archuleta.
Archuleta.
It gives me, again, I still get goosebumps, bro, because people say that, oh, you don't represent. Bro, you just gotta find where the representation is.
Yeah, we had Rigo Chacon, and he'd be all, so today we are standing here with the voters, blah, 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 waiting for the end of the day, and back to you, Sam. This is Rigo Chacon. And I would die, bro.
Hell yeah, bro.
I would die.
We had that guy, Imesqua.
Yeah, my mom would do that. My mom had a little bit of an accent. But she would try to whiten it up around white people. But when she'd talk about like Ramon, she would be like, "So yeah, the other day I was hanging out with Ramon."
Because they don't want to be like Geraldo Rivera.
Yeah, you can't do that either, though. Yeah, you can't.
But if he would have been in the West Coast,
Geraldo.
It would have been Gerardo Rivera or Geraldo Rivers.
Yes, this is Gerald Rivers reporting live. I feel like Geraldo Rivera, if he had thought about it, would have been Gerald Rivers. But yeah, if he was more Hispanic, he would
How about the people who were afraid to be Latino, bro, back in the day, or afraid to be now, like their name is Garcia. What's your name? My name is Jeff Garcia.
Yes. I have one of those.
Oh, my last name is Robles? No, it's Robos.
I have a Mrs. Gomes that we went to school with. And I'm all, that's Gomez.
It's Gomes. I'm
Gomes.
Jewish.
I'm Gomes. But she did look like a white lady for sure. So I wasn't sure. It could have been a Spaniard thing, but
History for fools.
What's
Don't
up,
let them execution your name, assassinate your name.
woo!
You know, we're talking about executions right now, and we gotta talk about the biggest execution of all time. People never call it an execution because they give it a big name because they want to symbolize what he was killed on, but it was an execution, people. And that execution was Jesus H. Christ.
Oh, Jesus.
That was the most.
You're right. I
most,
didn't think about that. That is an execution.
An execution. People call it a crucifixion. Execution.
That's the style of execution. Was the crucifixion, but
Jesus Christ was executed for breaking every law known to man.
Fucking
He was
murderer.
First law he broke was walking on water. How dare you? Put your shoes on.
Son of a bitch, dude. You got your dirty feet in my water. Get the fuck out of here, Jesus.
Changing water into wine, making people and not paying the taxes for the wine.
That's my fucking kid, Jesus. Do you know my kid just drank your fucking so-called blood?
Bringing back a pervert back to life.
You son of a bitch, dude. He raped my kid.
But the biggest sin,
Sorry.
the biggest sin that he was doing,
Beep that out.
the biggest sin that Jesus Christ was doing in those days was forgiving people.
What a motherfucker.
Forgiving people. Like, when people would tell him his sins, and then he would pray on them and forgive them.
Right.
And when I read about it, that sin is as big as handing out a fake U.S. citizenship.
Yes.
Like it's probably just as bad. Like, no, these people are illegal. And then this big old long-haired guy shows up and goes, no, they're not. I just made them citizens of the United States.
Right. Yeah.
Because the rabbi were saying these people are all sinners. They haven't given us a lamb for their forgiveness.
Right.
I am the lamb.
I am the lamb. He sacrificed himself.
Because Jesus Christ is the sacrificial lamb.
Right.
The lamb of the world. Because before Jesus Christ showed up, a lot of Jewish people were if you were a guy that robbed somebody of their land, you could show up with 7 sheep and say, I'm fucking sorry.
Right.
And they'll say, all right, hey, 7 sheep. We're going to sell them. And then Jesus Christ said, no, man. Why is it that only rich people are allowed to be forgiven, but poor people are not allowed? Jesus Christ said, nah, man, this is all wrong. Everyone should be forgiven. Everyone has the right to be good again. Why should you have the right to be evil and evil? And then all of a sudden they start bringing sheep here. And it's totally going against the law back then. So he went to trial, man. He went to trial.
Jesus was a Buddhist.
And Jesus was a rebel, bro. They said, nah.
They believe
And
that.
then they nailed him, bro. You know how they nailed him? They put a pierce through his foot
Right.
to nail the bottom foot, right?
Yeah.
And then the one in his hand, and then like that, dog. So what happens is that every time he takes a breath, his body hangs even lower.
Right. And it rips.
So it's like this. So you're like, right? So every time, like if you could just manage your breath and move back,
right.
you can hold yourself. But
God, but you're still in pain.
your weight of your chest is just bringing you down, and then the support of your foot is just bringing you more down to the point where your chest caves in and you suffocate on your own blood. And then
No
the birds,
way.
you suffocate on your own blood. I saw it on what a crucifixion does. And then like he's just like this hanging, bro. Like,
Right.
and just think about it, bro. Hold yourself like that and try to breathe right now. Put your hands back, just barely like that, and put your chest forward. And you're nailed, bro. So every time you take a little breath, you're just putting more weight down.
I think my first thought was, I'm up there and I'm like, hey man, can you give me my inhaler, please?
You know what he told Peter when he was up there?
What?
I can see your house from here. So do you remember who those two other guys that were with him?
One was a thief. I know that.
You remember their names?
No.
No, because they only remember the headliner.
Oh, bro. So one was Butch Escobar, the other one's Gabby Lamb.
You were the host, so you were kind of carrying them back to the green room.
So one of them was Pedro Gonzalez and one of them was Gabby Lamb.
Before Jesus went to trial, he was whipped with a fucking whip that had little beads on them, bro, little rods in them, like knots.
Yeah, cat of nine tails.
Yeah, cat of nine tails.
Yeah, he was hit with a cat of nine tails. It was pretty.
And then they got a thorn crown, one of the Trojans said, "Oh, the king, you know he needs a crown, eh?" So they got the thorns that were around there from the pit, and they made like a crown, and they shoved it really hard on his head,
right?
And that it pierced through his eyeballs.
No way.
Yeah. But not only that, dude.
Get the fuck out of here.
The other torture was these dudes had to carry the cross themselves. So he's already tied up to a cross,
right?
And he has to carry it up. We don't know if it was like just a one piece to his arms.
Yeah.
But he was carrying it all the way up.
Holy fuck.
And then he was placed on it.
Yeah, I don't think he probably would have.
So it's not only that's humiliation.
Yeah, it's humiliation, but you're also, bro, you're dragging this thing. You're weak. Your blood is dripping out of your body. You're nailed to it, and you got to carry it, you know?
And then it's a good way to find your friend. Like maybe for other criminals, like who gives them water, who helps them.
Right. Yeah, that's the thing, dude. That's a pretty gnarly execution.
Talk to us about Dracula, the Impaler guy, or
Vlad the Impaler,
and what he did. He was the cross too, right?
You know, it's crazy, bro. Is that actually he's got a different style of doing things, and Vlad started out pretty much an innocent guy, and he was a municipal.
It's one of the Romans, by the way, who nailed Pontius. Huh?
Yeah, people to the cross. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Vlad the Impaler started out a pretty innocent guy and was I can't remember, it was something else.
Vlad the Impaler.
Yeah, it was something else, Dracula, and then it turned to Vlad. And then he was a municipal worker who was working actually as an executioner, and he kind of got fucked up from that shit. This is the story that I read this morning. So and I could put the video in the quotes or whatever. But then he started really loving it, and then he became a dude. Like he became like a ruler through his brutality, and his favorite form of punishment was impaling someone up the butt. So it'd be like
how big was that stick?
The stick was probably about
You like Ray, huh?
No, I was like taller than
Ray the Impaler.
That looked like Ray. It did look like our sound guy Ray. But the it was like a huge stick, I'd say about 9 to 10 feet tall, and it was sharp on one end, and it had kind of like a little seat on the other.
There it is. Oh my
Right.
God.
And what he would do is he would impale you through your butthole. That's him having breakfast, watching a field of people suffering. So that's
So they're all moaning and
that's
dying.
kind of a raw depiction of it, because what I had heard, and this is the video I saw this morning on the way in, and then another thing that I read in a book, is that he would, you know what threading is? When you like go in and out of the skin, and he would thread it all the way up your back, and it would stick out above your head, so your head would be forward, and the stick would be coming up behind your head, and you would be sitting on this little pedestal that's attached to the stick, sort of. It was not necessarily you sitting on it, it was to stop you from sliding all the way down, so that you could just keep hanging, and you're dripping blood, and you would eventually die of either losing enough blood, which most people didn't, or like some sort of like serious wound to your cerebral cortex. He hated when they died on the spot, when like something was pierced, like a spinal column or something, and then they were just dead. He liked watching them suffer. He liked watching them bleed. And I don't know if he really drank blood. Like, I think that was like I didn't read anywhere that he was drinking their blood, but
You know, people lie, bro.
it could have been a story of him drinking the blood of one of his enemies that turned into him drinking blood all the time from everybody. You know, and this is the thing, man, is like, we're talking about 15th, 16th, and 17th century.
He had miles of people impaled, huh?
So that was the thing, is that at first it was his enemies, and then once he gained control of Transylvania or whatever region he then would do it to the citizens who committed crimes.
Didn't they tell him also, like,
And then the road to his home was like just people impaled.
guy, fucking impaler? Didn't they talk to this guy? Or I could be wrong. And told him, dude, we're wasting trees just for you to display this stuff.
Yes.
And they kept telling him, dude, we're gonna lose resources.
Well, that's how he became so famous, because he mowed down a whole forest, and in its place he put up that right there.
They could pretty much like.
That's a real depiction.
So he took a whole forest out just to do this.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a huge forest, but it was probably like.
He could have been making houses and bow and arrows.
Like, and again, there's efficiency is not a thing, so it's like maybe 1 or 2 poles come out of a tree. You know, who knows? Again, before anybody starts laying down in the comments with how full of shit I am and everything, I love those, by the way. You guys are genuinely my favorite.
Thank you for those $10.
Yeah,
let's make it 100 this week.
Yeah, dude, throw it down. You're full of shit. Here's $100. But this is 16th, 17th. 15th, 16th, 17th, where there's not a lot of good recording. There's not a lot of good, like, information out there, you know, because it's whoever either was, like, writing the history at the time was making their own narrative. You know, you think news is fake now? Go through fucking history books, man. It's fucking crazy. So there's stories that this guy had forests that were completely wiped out. There's one that says the neighboring forest. There's one that says he didn't drink blood. I didn't see him drinking blood anywhere. To be honest with you. But yeah, dude, it's heinous, because like we sit here, we go, oh, look, like we look at that picture of those people doing that. Think of the pain you would be in. And that's like 100 people sitting in front of this guy, and he's eating breakfast.
Well, those people, some of them were not our royalty, right?
No, his first victims were like, you know, his enemies.
Bro, it's funny you say that, bro, because I said it last week. I said that joke. I said, man, you know what, man? When I die, man, I want a traditional Mayan wedding, man. Take me back to the Aztec warrior wedding, our funeral.
Right.
I want to be buried with my dog, my 2 side chicks, my servants.
Can you imagine being a servant?
They would do that, bro.
Yeah.
When a guy would die, they will kill the dog to bury them with him, and they will kill the servants. So when he goes to heaven, they'll be there ready.
Did they kill them, or did they bury him alive?
they'll kill them, bury them alive.
But dude, here's the thing: if you're
that's its own torture.
if I'm watching you die as your servant, I'm out the back door, bro.
But that's the incentive. That's the incentive of keeping me alive, so you won't die.
Right. Yeah. Fuck
So
that.
are you gonna poison me? Nah.
Yeah, but what if you are like? What if you have a stroke, which was a thing back then, but no treatments for it, and you're on your way out, and you're sitting there with like half your face all fucked up, and you're like, "Hey, Butch, this is the end for me. We're going to heaven, bro." And I'm your servant. I'm like, "All right, I'll be right back to go get your milk," and then
I'll be badass, bro. Imagine, bro, I'm dying.
I'm running.
I'd love to live like that in 2025. I'm dying.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at a doctor, I grab a t-shirt. You know I'm going to take it with you, motherfucker, right? I got a coffin with your size already ready.
Here's your incentive to get me better.
So you got to keep both of us alive.
Right.
And I'm taking your dog, too. He's cute.
Yeah, that's what happened to those guys, dude. And they took the dogs, too.
You know, how did that guy from the Gladiator, the guy from
Marcus Aurelius?
Marcus Aurelius,
Marcus Aurelius.
he was tortured. No, what's the name from Braveheart?
Oh.
Wallace.
Oh, my God. William Wallace is the greatest.
Because I always thought
One of the
they
most, like,
they
outstanding-
hide the execution in the movie, bro.
So let me just.
You think it's too hardcore to show it? Show us, bro.
It's called
History for Full Scrolls. They're for
Drawn,
sale.
Hung. So William Wallace is the most famous person to have the most famous brand of executions at the time. And most of the executions we're going to be talking about today are going to be, we're talking about medieval Central Europe. And again, the 15th, 16th, and 17th century, which seems like a lot of time, but when you think about it, you condense it because 300 years then is about 30 days now. You know what I mean? Like, because things didn't move as fast, so there wasn't a lot of inventions. So being hung was a big thing. But being drawn, hung, and quartered is what happened to William Wallace. And let's first explain the drawn part.
It just sounds, just the way you said it right now,
Yeah.
sounds like an invitation to a sexcapade. You ready, baby? I got quarters and I got hung.
Do you mind if I use the little Felipe here?
Yeah, do it, bro.
For a model. Sorry, little Felipe is going to be tortured today. They didn't use. Sometimes they used an axe. In later years, they used an axe, but they used to have a sword that was. Can you look? I don't know if you could find a beheading sword, but they had a sword that was made for beheading because it needed to be heavy on the front part. So a normal sword, when you look at it, is skinny in the middle and then heavy on the top. And these swords didn't. They had so the one down there in the middle, yeah, it has a blunt end. Yeah, see that blunt end with that louvered like end right there.
Yeah.
So it was heavier at the base, so when it dropped, it had to be a clean cut because a lot of times, like in Germany or not in France, I'm sorry, Germany and other like European countries, France did their own thing, but you got 3 strikes as an executioner. And if you didn't hit your guy, if you didn't kill him in 3 strikes, you were going to be held for the death penalty next. If the crowd didn't get up and just beat the fuck out of you,
They're cheering,
beat you to death. Well, the crowd's bloodthirsty, and they just want to fight for shit, And so,
This is, by the way, people, this is before baseball entertainment. They had nothing.
right?
Bro, people will be starving to death, but they'd rather watch someone kill and eat.
Well, the spectacle, yeah, totally, bro. That's what's fucked up about all of this.
For real, I don't know. I saw it.
It's a Dodgers game.
We talked about this. We said this. Are we going to feed the people? No, we're going to have a gladiator fight.
You guys want sandwiches?
Or a gladiator fight.
Gladiator! Yeah, bro. Like,
People rather gamble than eat.
near the end, France had to do its thing in the dead of night, and then at some point it privatized it because it was just too much of it. People were bloodthirsty. It fucked people up. It made they noticed that there would be fights afterwards. There'd be
Pickpockets and shit.
Oh, bro. Well, just people fucking each other up, dude. They'd go get drunk. Either they'd be pre-gaming, go watch the fucking beheading.
And that fucking what you call it? That execution. It's just as bad as it is any other execution you watch, huh?
There's, bro.
Like the mine execution, just as bad.
The Mayan executions were bad, but those were like
Rituals.
those were rituals, and
They were enemies.
so the first death penalty. I mean, we've probably been doing the death penalty for as long as humans have been alive. It's like piracy. When we did piracy, one of the things we learned is that piracy is as old as human beings. As long as we've been able to float on water, we've been able to take away each other's property and steal it and do our thing, right? So the first real like rules,
Walk the plank.
the first rules that were ever made, the first like kind of, and we've based our rules, a lot of our rules off of this, are the Code of Hammurabi, which was like the first society of the Phoenicians. And it was like the first real society. He was a conqueror who wasn't supposed to be a big deal. And then he ended up having all this land. And so he decided to come up with a doctrine to protect property and stuff like that. So some of the things that that the first death penalty was issued for was theft of property, stealing from temples or the palace, receiving stolen goods, stealing cattle or sheep, or kidnapping. False accusation, accusing someone of serious crime without proof. A judge giving a false verdict was a law that could be punishable by death.
Awesome.
Sexual and family offenses, like you could be adulterers, incest, and then also grape and another man's wife or daughter can also get you the death penalty. Neglect of military duties. So there are a lot of them are like the regular stuff, but helping a slave escape, harboring a fugitive slave, failure to properly build a house. Like he kind of was the first person to punish people for code violations, but instead of going to jail for using bad balsa wood, you would be given the death penalty. So like, and that was the thing, is that a lot of his code was that base, but that was kind of the first death penalties that were issued were those ones.
Blasphemy, bro. That's what they got Jesus for.
But then we get into the Middle Ages, and that's where you see the guy with the fucking mask and the guillotine and the axe.
Hey, feeding someone to a lion was not an execution. It was an exhibition at the.
That was it. That was like
No,
that wasn't an execution.
No, man. I was thinking like this is too expensive.
They used slaves to do that, and depending on the emperor at the time, he would either have, because I did read about this way before when I was watching Gladiator, and I was interested in that. So this is very long ago, but I believe that it was based off of like he would get the best, strongest slaves and then throw them in there to fight these lions for the entertainment, and they were fighting for their freedom. And there were people at times where they were like, all right, you committed a crime, now go fight a lion. If you win, you can go free. But
it was crazy, bro, that the Colosseum, gladiators, all that was all BC, right?
yeah,
But these people had strong enough boats to go to Africa and take a lion.
right.
They saw lions before probably like 500 years before the United States saw a lion.
Right. Well, and that's the thing, bro.
And China saw panthers way before. Like they were taking because imagine, bro. Remember this? It just baffles me, bro. How we didn't see lions here to the 19th century.
Right.
And these people saw lions in the 13th century.
Well, because
it took Barnum and Bailey and all these circuses.
Well, we were busy forging the greatest nation on fucking earth. Everybody else is out there fucking around collecting lions and making them fight each other.
But they already had a war, I mean.
Right, but that's the thing, though, is that, these people were... Well, that was the thing, man, is that you're talking about, and even to this day, global conquering is all about naval warfare. Like, at the end of the day, man, it's one thing to be able to behold land and say, this is my piece, don't fucking come here. But, like, for instance, I was watching a documentary on the B-52 the other day, which is still, like, a airplane that's been around since the 50s, and it drops nuclear weapons. And the thing is that for the longest time, it could only leave from a base and then have to come back. But over the last few years, we've been able, because of naval warfare, because we're able to get an aircraft carrier out into the middle of the ocean, we could send a B-52 anywhere in the world. The B-52 could actually fly around the world endlessly without ever stopping. If it wasn't for the crew having to go to sleep and eat and get new things. Because now we could just launch a plane off of a boat, fuel that motherfucker, and then keep it going. So like naval warfare is important when we're talking about all of this stuff, because like the fact that they're conquering and taking new lands, these guys were out there, collecting lions. There's proof, or there's evidence that they were in the Americas long before Columbus came, because there's drawings of bears that look like American bears. And so it's like
Russian bear.
Well, there's Russian bears, but and that's the thing is that, but there's like depictions of grizzly bears where I don't think those existed in Russia.
They're extinct now in America.
Yeah, pretty much. They only
Oh, we
live in
left
Alaska.
with a black bear.
Yeah, and that's an interesting thing as well. But those were not forms of execution. But
Hanging.
They did use elephants though. Before we get to hanging,
To stomp people in India, right?
Yes, in Indonesia, your crime would be whatever it was, and then you'd lay your head on this huge piece of cement, and then they'd make the elephant stand on your head, and then
The crime was washing your hands. Are you kidding me?
Depending on the depending on the illicitness of the crime, you could just be splayed out, and then they would step on your legs first, your hands, then your body, which leads me to the next thing. I mean, you want to talk about we could talk about hanging. Hanging was so like the most basic thing
man,
in all of this.
one thing they don't talk about hanging is that your guts fall off, but they never show it in the movies.
No.
Who was in charge of cleaning that up, bro?
That's the thing I looked up next was
Like, because every time the execution, guts fall off.
so
That Wallace guts, all that. Who
right.
cleaned that up? And who ate it?
So there's two different types of hangings. First of all, there's hangings that make you break your neck.
That's the one with the little hole.
Yeah, and then it opens up underneath you, and you drop, and your body comes down so hard that it dislodges your neck.
And
And
do they rip the neck off most of the time?
No, but what it'll do is you'll evacuate your bowels, you'll evacuate every part of your body, and if it is, your guts do come down into your bowels, and you can shit out your guts. And what you're talking about is when they slice slowly, and this is where it's heinous. They slice a thin line over your stomach
Before they hang you?
before they hang you.
I didn't know
Not
that
enough to cut your flesh all the way open, but just enough to give it looks like you would need stitches on it all the way across. The fat is exposed, it's coming out, and then when they drop you hard enough to not break your neck. Your bowels just come popping out of your stomach. There's I think it's in Red Dragon, where he hangs that guy and his bowels come out of his stomach, and then you're more dead from the disembowelment of the gravity of things. But then there's another way of hanging, where they would just put a rope on you, right, and you'd be they'd put a rope around your neck, and then they'd slowly lift you off the ground, and then you would choke. You would just kick and choke to death, and those were the three different ways of hanging someone. And so like, but who cleaned that up is the question. Depending on the time. So in America, when we were hanging people and there was a mass, we would have either prisoners or local people do it for a certain amount of pay. If it was the medieval times, the only people who were getting hung were royalty. And it was usually the executioner that had to clean it up, or the executioner's assistant, who was going to be the next executioner. When we talk about this guy too, this medieval executioner, again, we see the guy with the mask. That guy rarely wore a mask. The reason why that's a story is because there's a guy, sorry, let me grab my notes here, named Franz Schmidt. And he's one of the only guys that kind of recorded he was deemed an executioner, and how he became an executioner was his dad was an executioner, and how his dad became an executioner is he was a woodsman. There's different stories, but this seems to be the most common. He was a woodman walking by an execution, and there was nobody to execute this guy. And he had already been in trouble for for poaching, because he was a hunter. So the king goes, "You, sir, you must execute this man." And he did it so well that it became his job. And so his son, Franz, later on, as this becomes a job, his son's Franz Schmidt becomes the executioner. Now, the reason why and again, I support this theory, the theory that they didn't wear masks, is because people knew who they were. One, you weren't allowed to go to church. You weren't allowed to be around other people. You weren't allowed to be around other people. You were not allowed to eat with other people. You lived outside the village. Your kids had to go hang out with other executioners' kids because
a caste system.
Well, nobody wanted to be around you. You killed people, and back then that was the sin of sins. They made a doctrine to help.
Yes, Jan Midier.
Was born probably 1572. So the reason why the hood is a thing is because the dad was ostracized from Hans Schmidt, and then he started to wear a mask, but it didn't last long. And that's the thing. And so it just looks fucking rad. But I don't think because it was families. Like, everybody knew you. The only reason why you would wear a hood is either to look fucking badass while you were murdering people.
Nobody's going to recognize that motherfucker without a hood, eh?
Right. But they knew who you were. So
you're the only fat motherfucker in town.
I know that, nipple.
You're eating good. Why? Because you're an executioner.
So some of his other jobs, though, bro, were to torture people. So Franz wrote that Franz Schmidt killed 361 people in his time as an executioner. He was also a doctor at the time, which is weird. A lot of these guys were doctors because they would help people because they knew the body so well. Because they tortured people as well. They would boil people. There was a boiling method where they would just heat up hot oil or water and just fucking dangle you over it and then cut the wall open, and then you would just fall into the water and you would boil to death. But my favorite method that I got to read was the breaking wheel, where they took this huge wagon wheel and then splayed you across it. And then with a big wooden mallet, it's called the Catherine wheel if you want to look it up.
Damn. You seen an execution like a face of death?
Yes, I did see that. I have seen that.
I saw the one that...
and then I saw the ISIS ones, too.
I saw the one that was... the Russian guy that was quoted for owing like $60 in taxes in Russia.
Yes. I think...
And they got him on a horse and they ripped him apart.
That's crazy, bro. That's quartering.
And then I was like, $60.
That's a form of quartering.
I could have just paid it for him, man.
Right. And he would have lived. That's so fucking heinous.
Look at that one. That's the one. Look at that one.
So this is the breaking wheel, and this is one version of it. And but the other way is to splay you across, like crucifix style. There's probably pictures of that too. But they would hit you with a mallet, and they would break your bones. And then so the point, yes, so that they would break your bones with the mallet, and then
how?
So like they would.
Oh, so you could they could roll you,
and then they'd roll you. And then you're just rolling around on this thing, screaming your head off because every bone in your body's broken, and the wheel's just turning and turning and turning. And so they call that the Catherine wheel because they put Saint Catherine on it.
Why they put Saint Catherine on it for?
I have no clue.
It was done by Protestants, huh?
But it was like Joan of Arc. Joan of Arc was an execution as well, which was the punishment for heresy at the time, which was burned at the stake. And that one's pretty. But the one that I think is
she makes a great fire.
Where the fucking heinous one is the where is it? The garroted. The garroted. The garroter or the garroted. I don't know how to. The garrote. Okay, here it is. The garrote. And this came from Spain, but the Philippines. And if you could look up the garrote, Garat, this came from the Philippines via the Spaniards. And this was you sit in a chair that had a huge pole behind you. And in that pole, right behind your head, right behind the base of your head, was a peg. And behind that peg was a twisty wheel thing. And the more you twisted it, the more the peg pushed against your head. And it would push if it did it right, it would push into your spinal column and explode the little wire that runs through. I can't remember the name of it. But the garroted was there. It is. There it is on the right. There it is. Look at that fucking bro. That is so.
You're that person now.
The one that you have right above us, right there, Ray. The right one, the one where the guy's twisting that. Yes. That is exactly what that's a garrote, and it would just twist, and it had a metal thing around that guy's neck. Right, there's a metal thing around his neck, and then it pushes slowly this peg into the back of his head till either his head just pops off.
Click on that right there where it says visit. Fascinating. This picture of a man who was about to be executed.
Far right, all the way over. Yeah, click on that one. There we go.
I want to know why he was executed.
The garrote is an execution device that is documented to have been used in the 1st century BC Rome. This torture method has found its way into modern history. The condemned would sit in the metal clap wrapped around his neck before the executioner turned the screw that would theoretically burst his brain stem. That's what I meant to say. Killing him
You can tell
instantly.
this guy is being tortured in India by under the British rule, huh?
You're right. Yeah, something like that. This could be also like
I wonder what he did, eh?
Haitian Islands, bro.
Probably stole one bread.
I wonder what this guy did, bro. Might have stole some tea bags or something. But that one's a real heinous. And
you see the one about where they opened that guy's gut and they put 2 rats in there and they sew them
yes.
up?
So that one was
called?
the most famous method that I'd found. That was like, because I looked up like what's the most heinous way people were executed, and that one was for adultery and heresy, and theft and murder. And what they would do is they'd put a bowl or a little cage, but it was usually a bowl over your stomach, and under that bowl was like 3 or 4 rats. And the rats might have been just nibbling on your stomach a little bit. Not really, you're going to get bit. Oh, well, who gives a fuck? You're fucking about to die. Because what they do is they put hot coals on that bowl. Over time, the coals get so hot that the rats need to get the fuck out of there. And the only way out is that little soft tissue beneath them where they start to rip through your stomach, and then they eat their way out your side of your body. And you slowly die from rats digging through your body. Or
they're trying to escape, huh?
Or you don't die and you got to live through that until you do die. And that one's so fucking heinous, dude.
How about the one, bro, where they fucking just bury you with your head sticking out?
Okay, so that one's stoning, and that happened a lot in India, where they would bury, and it happened a lot to women who were committing adultery, because at the time, men could not commit adultery. So they would bury you up to your neck, and then the village would walk by with rocks and fucking stone you in the head with it until you died. There was also one that...
Come on, Jerry.
There was a European...
I thought you had to throw a curveball Little League.
There was one way to get out of a dispute with your wife, and that was that you get buried in a hole up to your chest, and you have a sword, and then your wife is tethered to a pole next to you, and she has a big wooden mallet, and then the two of you fight it out, and whoever wins gets to live, I guess.
Damn.
Yeah. So there's that. And then, okay. You ready for another one?
Yeah.
Okay. Beheading was for nobility and people who wanted to get that shit over with quick. So if you fucked up but you were rich, that was the other thing is, actually, let's talk about pay. So an executioner made about $2,500 our time now per execution. But the thing is that he only got to do about 8 executions a year on the average. And so he had to supplement his income by torturing people, cleaning up death sites. He would also go and collect money from whores and tax stuff like that. But a lot of money he made too was, let's say I'm up for execution and you're going to execute me. My family would pay you a certain amount of money to get me fucked up, so that wouldn't hurt so bad, and then also give me a quick death. So he made extra money off of that as well. Crushing was another way where it would lay you on a flat. They would lay you on a flat surface, and then they would put a board over you, like another piece of plyboard, and then they would slowly add rocks to the plyboard until the board basically crushed you to death. Bro, what's crazy to me is that there's someone who thought of this fucked up shit.
I'm crazy.
This one's, you asked me and I told you this when we were in Naples. You said, what was the most heinous one? This one is the most heinous one.
Bees.
They hang you upside down by your ankles and they spread your legs. Where's my Felipe? There it is. You hang you up by your legs like that, right? And then they take a saw, like a fucking saw like a wood saw, and then they start to saw you from here. This is not going to kill you until you get about to right here. So between here and here, as they're sawing,
when you stop feeling it, eh?
Huh? Yo, I don't think you ever. I mean, your body does go into shock. You can't go into shock. There's a thing called shock where your body just goes, I'm not feeling this pain, and it knocks you out. That's why sometimes people pass out. And it's very dangerous, just to pass on little knowledge to those out there. If someone seems sleepy after a bad accident, do not let them fall asleep because you could die from that. So sometimes they would die from shock. But it's so heinous, bro, because that first saw goes into you. It's not enough pain to knock you out. It's just enough pain to irritate you. And then once it gets into your skin, it starts to move back and forth. You remember those when we were talking about in Hawaii, the teeth? And you hit them in the balls and you pull it back and it rips all those tendons out? That's what that saw is doing down there.
You ever see one of those tortures on that people were sending around from all over the world, like from drug wars and terrorism?
Oh, yeah, I watched those.
Well, it was a reporter who got his head cut off, right?
Right.
By Al-Qaeda.
Yes. Oh, bro, I watched those. Those were all those ISIS killings and stuff, bro. All those, like, executions. I stupidly watched those, which fucked me up. But, yeah.
I saw somebody sent me one on Facebook back in the day. It was a cartel killing, bro.
Oh, God.
I don't know if you saw that one.
Were he still screaming?
It starts out with when they cut his legs off first.
Oh, no. Yes. You showed.
And then they cut the other leg off.
You and Rodrigo showed me this the first time.
And then they cut his shoulders off.
Yes.
And then just like no arms. He's still alive.
Still alive.
How sharp is that knife?
Have you, dude?
That's a bone crusher, right?
Again, bro. These guys, these executioners, had to keep their knives sharp because it had to be one blow, and if it was more than a few blows, then they would. Because, dude, that's the thing. Is meat is dense. But also, like, we have bones that you have to break past. And they're not like chicken bones. These are human being bones that are not supposed to be broken like that. You know, the one that I saw that was crazy was this Russian one where they took this guy that was, like, hurting kids or something. And they cut his balls off. And then they splayed him out. They tied his arms and his legs. And then they let these two pit bulls basically eat away at his area.
Hungry ass dogs.
And you could see it. You could see it. They were like ripping meat off. They're these two pit bulls. And they're like chewing the meat. And it's one of the most heinous things I've ever seen on the internet.
Do they still, in America, do they still hang people? Some states, right?
No. I think.
Lethal injection is like.
So they did shooting all the way up until maybe, I don't know, like. God, I want to say a couple decades ago was the last state to do a firing range. And now it's all electric chair or lethal injection. Now, here's something that people think that isn't true. And it may be true in some places, but in most places it's not. That the person giving the lethal injection. So what I was made to believe when I was younger is that 4 guys would stand there with like syringes. And only one of the syringe would have the death nail in it. But no one knew who it was, so it kept everybody safe from knowing who killed who. But I watched a lot of interviews over the week of modern-day death executioners, and not one of them was like, I didn't know I did it. All of them were like, yeah, but I felt like I was just doing a job. But, yeah, all of them had, way of doing things with lethal injection.
How about the ones that say that when they do like when they shoot people, what is that called?
Oh, that's the firing range.
A firing squad.
Can you look up the last time America had
a firing squad? I heard that not all of them have real bullets.
That's the reason for those.
Heard some of them, like I know in war, I'm pretty sure they all have bullets, but they said in execution, not all of them have bullets.
The last firing execution in the U.S. was 2010, bro. When Ronnie Lee Gardner was executed by firing squad in Utah. Before Gardner's execution, the previous ones were in Utah as well. Gary Gilmore in 1977 and John Albert Taylor in 1996. So that's the thing, man, is like, I don't know what the truth is behind that because I heard the same thing. But to me, it sounds really dumb and inefficient not to load up everybody's fucking gun because you want this guy to die. And if a guy gets shot by one bullet, he's more likely to live. It's very hard to actually kill someone with one bullet. Like, even if you shoot someone in the head, there's a good chance that they might live. So, like, like, that's the thing, is that you need multiple bullets to sever several arteries, like, because that's what you die from. You die from, like, if you get shot in the stomach, you don't die right away like in the movies, because it's like in that movie Three Kings, where his lungs are filling up with acid, and your stomach is ripped into your lungs, and so it's leaking fluid into your. So that's one way. Another way is, if you hit the brain in the right place, yeah, okay. There's certain areas like in Blood Out, Blood In, Blood Out, where they show you all the stabbing points. Those are all ways to die because you're popping blood vessels. So in the movie, someone gets shot, like, it doesn't work like that. I had a friend who was in Afghanistan, and he said that they were rolling up on a group of guys that were stealing oil drums from the base.
Yeah.
And so they started firing on the guys. He goes, the first time I ever got in a firefight, and it wasn't even really a firefight. They were just shooting at these guys stealing, and the guys took off on their boat. And he goes, dude, I swear to God, I was hitting them. Like, I was watching my sights.
Yeah.
And he goes, and they took off, like, nobody got shot. But there was a report of the boat being found down the way. All the guys were dead. So, like, you don't die right away from that, from being shot a couple of times. You need a full firing squad to just load you full of that lead, baby.
In the movies, in the Quentin Tarantino movies, they shoot you with a fucking bullet, and you fucking fly 6 feet in the air.
Yeah, that's not real.
I always thought, like, if he's flying 6 feet in the air, the other guy who's shooting the gun should fly 2 feet off the air.
I want to, you know what? Yeah, that's the other thing too. Is
like when you shoot a shotgun, like if I were to hit him with a shotgun, Ryan,
right,
Ray in a movie,
right,
he'll go through the wall.
Right. Not at all true. Not at all true. I'm sure there's people out there that if you're watching this or listening to this who've been shot, tell me if this is your experience. But I had a friend who was shot, and he said it felt like someone punched him. He didn't even feel that. He goes, dude, it felt like I could feel it hit me, but it didn't hurt for a minute, and then I couldn't breathe, because one of his lungs was filling up with blood, and then he passed out, and then he went to the hospital, and then he woke up feeling the worst pain he'd ever felt. But he said right away it didn't feel like it hurt. He just was like, he looked down and he sees blood. So, like, that's the thing, bro, is because it's going so fast, and your body's just made of. How does those little bullets fucking push you back like that? Yeah, that's the thing, man, is like, I would encourage people to do their own research. It's not hard.
Go shoot people. Not just kidding.
No, pick up a book. I was going to say go educate yourself by going on the internet.
Go to a shooting range, man.
Yes, do that. That's fun.
We went to one.
We went for your birthday. That was fucking fun. Yeah. Yeah, did you have fun doing that? Man. Yeah, I love shooting guns. It's a nice little exercise. I think that's all I got, dude. To be honest with you, like, I'm trying to look through all the other executions that we talked about. We talked about flaying. Oh, being skinned alive was a way, and that was after you got boiled.
So people would, like, do a cut on your skin and peel it?
Yeah. People would boil you enough to par. Like, would not.
You're still alive, right?
Yeah, you're still alive, and then
burned.
And then they skin you.
They soften you up a little.
There was one thing that we called the upright jerker here in America that we tried, and it sounds like, another thing that you're doing, but
they would torture you also, like tie you up and leave you in a box, huh?
Oh, bro, buried alive, dude. That's the worst. Well, that's some of the things. So they had those for slaves, but then there was times where they would just put you in a box and leave you there until you rotted away. But the upright jerker was another. They tried it because they thought it was going to be cleaner than regular executions, but they noticed that sometimes people's heads would just come completely off, attached to the spinal column still, but the body would be laying there. But it was called the upright jerker. So let's say you weigh 260 pounds, okay? They would find a 350 pound weight, and they'd put it on one end of a rope, and then they'd wrap the noose around your neck, and then they'd let the weight go, and that fucking thing would just rip your fucking head right off. So, that's all the stuff we have, on the history of executioners. Again, it's a sordid history because there were accounts of people wearing hoods in other stories. So I'm not going to say that it wasn't a thing.
But for Hollywood,
I think it was more because in my mind, this is one of the guys said this that I was watching. He was like, why would they wear a hood when they already know that they're fucking, everybody knows who they are. They're not allowed to go in the city. And the accounts that this guy's reading are like their kids are marrying other executioners' kids because they're all kind of banished from society. So again, the hoods may be a thing, but I don't think they are. As far as what you saw there with William Wallace, that didn't happen like that, but that's probably Hollywood's best way of showing you without grossing you out.
Imagine, bro, like there was like 2,000 of people for the execution.
Yeah.
People had nothing to do, bro.
Nothing to do. Nothing to do, bro. Well, that was the thing is there's no.
Hey, you starving? Come shove everybody to this execution,
bro. This is how bored people was. There was no art, so people would go to a good church, which they were not allowed to go inside of if they were poor. They would go and stare at the art because they didn't have art in their houses. Like it wasn't like today where we got all this wonderful shit.
The guy who conquered the gladiators. Who conquered the goth people? He did it with this, bro.
Uh,
History for Fools, execution. We'll be back more.
We'll be back next week.